What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Joaquin Corrales, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how I was able to quit my 9-to-5 job and build a 6-figure business. Okay, I know a lot of you guys watching this channel, you want to go out there and create your own business, but you're probably working a job right now, and you're having a hard time kind of knowing when it's time to make the shift. Like, when do you stop working your 9-to-5 job and go full-time in your business? Or at least, how do you even start a business while you're working a 9-to-5 job? And I was able to do all those things, so I'm going to kind of guide you guys through the story here. But before we get right into it, let me give you guys kind of some context, okay? So when I was 18 years old, I graduated from high school and I had no idea what I wanted to do. Eventually, I figured out that, okay, I'm gonna do something related to computers. I've been good with computers my whole life, so I'm gonna do that. I was able to get a job at a food distributing company because I was friends. One of my best friends, cousins, something, whatever, was able to get me the job there. She's like one of my best friends even today, even though she's much older. It's awesome. And she was able to get me a job at this food distributing company, making $12 an hour. She was starting that job as well, and she kind of brought me on board with her. And it was awesome. It was absolutely incredible. I was making $12 an hour. And at the beginning, I wasn't really sure what I was doing at that job, okay? Maybe like a lot of you guys watching this, that maybe you graduated college or maybe you could remember how you started your job initially and you weren't really sure what was going on, right? When it was your first kind of real job like it was for me. But I knew that, okay, my plan there was, okay, I'm gonna treat this job, I'm gonna treat this 9-to-5 job as if I own this company, right? And what I mean by that is that I'm gonna put all my energy, all my focus on being the best employee ever, being the best employee on this company so that people notice who I am, so that everyone around me knows me, and so that eventually I'm able to decide how much money I get paid, okay? I mean, I remember when they told me I was gonna get paid $12 an hour, I was super excited because every job that I had worked before that, I was making $7.80, which was minimum wage, and I basically didn't go over that. Like, I never made any more money than that. So I had just graduated college, I started this job, and it was absolutely awesome. And my schedule basically looked like this. So I would work from 8 a.m. in the morning. I would actually wake up at 6, so let's start there. So wake up at 6, get to work at 9, be at work get to work at 8, be at work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then I would go to school from 5 p.m. to probably 7 to 8 p.m. I would be in college at Florida International University. And then when I got home was what I did, where I did the things that really differentiated me from everyone else that kind of started at the same time as me, or anyone else kind of my age that came into this business. And what I did, instead of going home and partying and just playing video games and doing random stuff, was that I worked, okay? And I really did it because I have an obsessive personality. And what that means is that when I want something, I'll just obsess over it and do everything that I need to do to be able to get that. And ever since I graduated high school, like, I became obsessed with being super successful. I became obsessed with, I wanted to have all this cool stuff, and I wanted to be able to bring a life to the people around me, to my family and my friends and everyone, that they had never experienced before and that they'd never seen for themselves. And I think a lot of that came from reading a lot of books. But anyways, I wanted that. So I literally worked 18-hour days every single day for my first 2 years at that company. And it was absolutely incredible. And I built a huge set of skills, like a set of skills that by the time I left that company, I was making around $80,000 a year. I was 20 years old. I had no degree at all, which comes to say a lot about that, because there's a lot of people right now that graduate college with an accounting degree or a business degree or something like that after 4 years, and they're literally making like $30,000, $40,000 a year. So I was able to bring a lot of value to this company, and how I was able to do that, okay, and this is kind of the stepping stone to being able to leave. If you're watching this right now and you're working a 9-to-5 job, you need to make sure that instead of just focusing on things outside and all of that, that you're also being the best possible employee that you can be there, so that you fully exploit the opportunity that you have at that job, right? And obviously, I think it's different with a lot of jobs. Like, for example, if you're watching this and you're like, yeah, Joaquin, I have a job, but dude, like, I'm working at McDonald's right now, or I'm working at a pizza place. That's totally fine, okay? That's a different type of job. There's not that much upside opportunity there. And you're probably just there to make some money so that you could go on to that next level. But what you guys need to make sure that you do, and it's something that I did for the longest time and that I still do to this day, is that you try to learn a skill and that you try to create your business when you're outside of that place. That is all that matters, okay? To a lot of people, their job and their working hours are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay. If you're working a 9 to 5 job and you want to leave that job, what you need to do is that you need to put in the work after the job. And that's what I did every single day. Okay. I was teaching myself how to develop mobile apps. So I taught myself how to program from absolute scratch. I read a whole bunch of books. I watched every single course on how to program mobile apps because I thought that it would be awesome. Okay, I was like, okay, if I could just have an idea and then I could create a mobile app out of it, like this is gonna be super cool. And so I put a whole bunch of time into learning how to develop mobile apps. And then what I started doing was that I was like, okay, so I made 2 mobile apps so far, or I think I had made 1 mobile app so far, okay? And I was like, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna try to find a client to make mobile apps for. Now I wasn't super confident in making mobile apps, but I knew that I could figure it out, okay? I knew, okay, I'm not gonna be ready till I feel like I'm the best. I'm not gonna wait till I'm ready to have that one thing or this or that to start. I'm just gonna try and find a customer to develop a mobile app for. I'm gonna try to get paid for this actual thing, right? So what I did was that I went on Craigslist and I posted an ad. And the ad that I posted on Craigslist was, okay, hey, I basically made myself seem like I was a team of like 4 or 5 people and that I was a super professional at developing mobile apps. Obviously within means, because you don't want to do some super unethical thing and put a whole bunch of lies on there. But I basically spoke very professionally, and anyone who read that got the feeling that, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about and he's gonna be able to help me in what it is that I needed. And what I did was that I kind of left it there. I kept working my 9 to 5 job. I kept learning how to program. I kept mastering the actual skill. And this was actually before I got into internet marketing and before I got into any of that stuff. So I was just working my 9 to 5 job, which was awesome. And then at night, I was building my skills. I wasn't necessarily working on my business yet because I didn't have the business yet, but I was building my skills, which would then in turn allow me to create that business, okay? And so what happened one day, and I still remember that day like it was yesterday, was that I was in my 9 to 5 job and I get a random call from a number. So I get this call from a random number. And I usually don't answer like random numbers, but I was like with my best friend next to me and I check my phone and then we both look at my phone like, what the hell? Like, why is a random number calling you? And then what I did was that probably for the first time ever, okay, I decided to pick up that phone call. And that phone call would be my first customer ever to build, to offer them my mobile app services. And I would go on to generate over 6 figures from this customer alone, okay? And so what I did was that I stepped out of the office, I took this call and I was like, hey, it's Joaquin Corrales, how's it going, whatever. I probably didn't greet them like that, like who does that? I was like, hello? And then they were like, hey, like I saw your ad on Craigslist. I was like, oh yeah, what's up? And so the bottom line was that I knew how to program mobile apps in a language called Swift, which was kind of like an older language, right? And the mobile app that these people, I'm saying right, like if you guys know how to program. So I knew how to program in a new language of mobile apps. And this person that called me, their mobile app was programmed in an older language. And what I did on that phone call was that I agreed to kind of get on a meeting at night and they would pay me. They were like, how much do you charge an hour? And I was like, $60 an hour. And they were like, okay, awesome. And I was like, what? Like, damn, I should have said more. I didn't tell them that, but I was like, damn, like I should have said $100 an hour. And so whatever, as soon as I hung up that phone call, since I didn't know how to program in the language that these people's app were in, what I did was that I went online and I bought an ebook that showed me how to do it. And I started learning right there, literally what I needed to know. And I have noticed that the times in my career where I have the biggest upside, where I make the most money and where I just feel the most fulfilled is when I take on tasks not knowing exactly what to do, okay? There's so many people that DM me on a daily basis and they're waiting for the perfect time to do things. They're waiting for that number, that secret that they need to be able to go out there and do that. They're not ready yet. They don't have the skills yet. They can't start the store yet because they have a job. When they free up more time, when they have a little bit more time, they're gonna start that. And that day is never going to come. Can you imagine if I would have on that phone call been like, hey, you know, I don't really program in that language. I program in a newer language. So I'm not sure what I could do, man. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. You're going to have to find someone that knows how to program in that language. If I would have said that, I probably would have still been in that 9-to-5 job trying to figure out what to do. Okay. Probably not, because I'm a pretty fast learner, but you get the idea. Like, I would have literally thrown away in the trash can over $100,000 in sales if I would have done that, okay? If I would have waited to be ready, all right? And so what happened was that I started working with these people as I was in my 9-to-5 job, and it was great. Like, I was getting paid almost more money than in my regular job to do this for these people. And then what I did was that I made sure that there was some sort of contract between me and that customer that allowed me, that gave me a little bit of room as far as some guaranteed money coming in before I left my 9-to-5 job. Now, when I left my 9-to-5 job, I was actually making somewhere around $4,000 a month outside. We were kind of in a contract with that customer. And so I felt comfortable to leave the 9-to-5 job. But, you know, a lot of people think that leaving their 9-to-5 job has to be risky. Okay. A lot of people think that leaving their 9-to-5 job means that they can't start their business yet. I have to leave my 9-to-5 job to then dedicate my entire time to my business. And it doesn't have to be like that, okay? And I understand that maybe some people have families, maybe some people have school, or whatever other excuse you want to give yourselves as to why you're not doing it. You need to realize that all you need to do is put in from 30 minutes to an hour outside of work. And if you could do that every day, then you're going to start building your business, and you're going to be eventually able to leave that 9-to-5 job. And so that's exactly how I did it. That's exactly how I planned on doing it. Like, not from the beginning, because I had no idea what I wanted to do from the beginning. But when I was in this 9-to-5 job and I was making a nice amount of money, I said, okay, the only way that I'm going to leave here is if I'm able to push myself enough to build a business outside of here, which I knew that I could do it, and I'm making money from that. And once I create this business outside of here and I'm making money from it, then I'm gonna leave this 9-to-5 job. I don't care that I'm making a lot of money there, because I could always come back to that, okay? And a lot of people don't realize that as well, that if you're working a job right now, the job is always going to be there, okay? But that seed that's in your mind that wants more, that seed in your mind that wants to create that business, it's there right now. And who knows if it's going to be there a year from now or 2 years from now, because of the values that society is pushing on everyone on every single day. So you need to make sure that you're acting on that, and that you're not forgetting that anyone out there could do this, that there's nothing special in what I did. All I did was that I put in the work, I learned the skills, and I was able to get this customer that paid me a ton of money, right? And I learned so many lessons from that. Like, when I left my 9-to-5 job, I had this customer and they were paying me a ton of money. And then I realized, or actually I had realized it before, but it kind of became true to me. And it's kind of advice for you guys here as well, that you need to make sure that you're not making all your money from one customer, okay? And it's the same with the business. You don't want to make all your revenue from one business. You want to try to diversify in case that falls off. But I'm going to leave that for another video, where I almost went all the way back to zero after quitting my 9-to-5 job. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you're watching this and maybe you have a job, or maybe your parents or people around you, their idea of a life is just to get a job, and you're watching this and you're working a job right now, but you want to be able to create your own online business, the answer is super simple. You need to put in the work. You need to create that business when you're not at work, so that eventually you're making enough money there to be able to leave, right? And obviously it depends. Like, there are exceptions. There are exceptions to that rule. Like, if you have $200,000 saved up, then maybe it makes sense to leave the 9-to-5 job and just go try and make that business, right? But if you're like me and you didn't have that much money saved up, and you were 20 years old and you were making a lot of money from a 9-to-5 job, then you're going to want to create that business as you're doing this. And it's obviously, and as well, by working that 9-to-5 job, you're feeding the business, right? Because let's say that you go out there right now and you create an online store. So what you're going to do, the online store is going to need some money for advertisement, so you can start advertising your products. So if you're working your job, some of the money that you make there, just put it into the business, put it into the business, put it into the business, and eventually the business continues to grow. But you guys are going to realize that you're going to have that shift. You're going to have that shift where you're never going to go back to a 9-to-5 job, because you know exactly what you need to do to make money no matter what, okay? A lot of people, I remember I used to have the fear that, oh my God, like I'm gonna leave this job, but I need to make sure that this stays going, because if not, then maybe I'll have to go back another day. But right now, we're at the point that I'm at, and all the people that I've met, once you make the shift and you realize like how easy it is to make money outside of a 9-to-5 job and be able to do the things that you want and all of that, then you're never going to go back, right? And that's a great thing for me. So guys, thanks for watching this video. If you haven't already, hit a like, hit a subscribe, and post a comment down below if you guys are working a 9-to-5 job right now and what your plans are. How much money do you need to be making every single month so that you feel comfortable in leaving this 9-to-5 job? And a lot of it also comes down to, are you willing to live at a lower level than you're living right now, right? Because the way that I'm coming from is I can literally live on like $200, $300 a month. Like that's literally all I need, okay? And so that gives me a lot of leverage when it comes to my businesses and all of that. And obviously I was making $4,000 a month before I left, but it's just something to think about. Like, can you lower that level? If you need $4,000 a month to leave your 9-to-5 job, what happens if you're making $2,000 a month? Can you make that happen? So let me know down below how much money you guys need in your online business to be able to quit your 9-to-5 job. I'm looking forward to seeing your responses. Make sure you hit a like, a subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.